Okay, what if I told you that your future isn't set in stone, that it's not about your past or your luck, but about something you can actually control right now? Well, that something is your mind. And in this explainer, we're going to dive into how you can literally reprogram your thinking to build the future you want. This right here, this is the key. It's the whole foundation. See, everything, and I mean everything, starts with a thought. So if you're not happy with your results, you can't just tinker with the surface stuff. You have to go straight to the source code, your thinking. So here's our game plan. First, we're going to look at what I call the mind's operating system. Then we'll walk through 4 huge lessons: getting rid of limiting beliefs, zeroing in on opportunity, installing powerful success habits, and finally, purifying your environment to protect all that good work. Ready? Let's jump in. All right, let's start with this big idea. Think of your mind as a computer. It's running on an operating system, right? A set of automatic programs that decide how you react to, well, everything. And here's the best part. Just like any software, it can be reprogrammed. You can install updates. And just look at the difference here. When you're running on a program built on fear, your default setting is to see roadblocks and just freeze. But with a program for growth, you instinctively look for the way forward, the opportunity. The external situation could be the exact same, but your internal code creates a completely different reality. So where do we even begin this whole reprogramming thing? Well, we start with the most important step of all, debugging. We've got to find and delete those limiting beliefs. You know, the invisible scripts that are running our lives without us even knowing it. You absolutely have to get this. A limiting belief is not a fact. It's just a thought you've had on repeat. It feels true because you've heard it so many times, not because it actually is true. It's just a story you've been telling yourself. And you know what? Any story can be rewritten. And changing a belief isn't some mystical process. It's a clear 4-step job. First is awareness. You just have to start noticing that inner voice. Then you question it. Seriously, ask yourself, is this thought 100% true? After that, you actively replace it with a new empowering one. And finally, and this is maybe the most crucial step, action. You have to take small steps that prove your new belief is true. That gives your brain new evidence to work with. Here's a classic piece of mental malware. I am not capable. This single line of faulty code can stop you dead in your tracks. It just shuts down possibilities before they even have a chance to get off the ground. Now just watch what happens when we run an update. By replacing that old buggy code with I am learning and improving, you completely shift your identity. You're no longer defined by some fixed state. You're defined by your growth. This one little change unlocks doors you didn't even know were there. Okay, with that old code getting cleared out, it's time for our second lesson. We're going to recalibrate your mind's search engine. Why? Because your mind will find exactly what you tell it to look for, whether that's problems or opportunities. You know, when you hit a wall, is this your default question? Why is this so hard? Because if it is, your brain will immediately go to work gathering all the evidence for why you should just quit. That question is literally programmed for failure. But just watch the power of this simple shift. The moment you ask, how can I solve this? You send your brain on a totally different mission. It starts searching for solutions. You're not staring at the wall anymore. You're looking for the way around it, over it, or through it. You're searching for the opportunity that's hidden inside the obstacle. And this is how you do it in the real world. You just reframe your language. A problem isn't a dead end, it's training. I failed isn't a final verdict, it's I learned. An obstacle becomes a stepping stone. This simple shift in the words you use literally reprograms how you experience and respond to every single challenge life throws at you. All right, lesson 3. Let's talk about actually getting things done. A reprogrammed mindset is great, but it's pretty useless without action. Real success isn't about one big, heroic moment. It's the sum of all the small things you do consistently, day in and day out. Man, this quote is a real game changer. Your goals, they point you in the right direction, for sure. But it's your habits that are the engine that actually moves you forward. When things get tough, and they will, you don't rise to your ambitions, you fall back on the strength of your daily routines. Think of these as essential software updates for your mind. You got to control your morning to set the tone for the day. Commit to learning something new every day. Practice self-discipline by doing things you don't feel like doing. Master that internal voice. Set and crush small goals to build momentum, and reflect at night so you stay on track. Every single one of these habits is a line of code for a mind that's built to win. And that brings us to our final lesson, and this one looks outward. Because honestly, all the internal reprogramming in the world won't stick if your environment is constantly trying to infect you with old viruses. You have to become the gatekeeper of your own mind. This is a powerful and, sometimes uncomfortable truth. The people you hang out with, the social media you scroll through, the news you watch, all of it is writing code directly into your mind, whether you realize it or not. So you have to ask yourself, which of these environments are you living in? Is your world filled with constant complaints and excuses? Or is it filled with ambition, focus, and new ideas? You soak up what's around you, so protecting your mind means consciously choosing to be in a growth environment. Okay, so let's bring all this home. We've talked about the code, we've talked about the bugs, and we've talked about the upgrades. Now it's time for you to take your seat at the control panel. You know, when it all comes down to it, this is the bottom line. The control center for your future isn't out there somewhere. It's not your past, it's not your circumstances, it's your mind. Program it for doubt, and guess what? You'll stay stuck. But program it for growth, for discipline, and for belief, and you create your own way forward. And now, you have the toolkit. 4 core functions to run your own mental updates. You delete the bugs, you focus on the opportunities, you install success habits, and you protect your system. That's it. That's the process. So let's make this real right now. What's the first program you're going to change? Today. What's that one limiting belief you're finally going to delete, or that one new habit you're going to install? Your future is literally waiting for the update.